talk about the EIC rough timelines, right? You saw what it takes to rewire an affiliate. The biggest thing, all right, so everybody should have gotten the AJA AES to analog converter. The one that we use to convert the satellite feed, the regional eagle, where it comes to SPDIF, that second output that gets converted into analog, they shipped those like a year or two ago. Because when we first got here and installed this system, I said, hey guys, there's no analog here. What about the guys? So they said, oh, here's a solution, and they sent those out. They really didn't send it with instructions. They just shotgunned them out to everybody. So like I brought one when we did Bahrain. I brought one or shipped one out, and then when we get there, they've got the brand new one sitting on a shelf. I was like, oh, I didn't know you had that, and then I forgot that they had already sent them. Somewhere in your shop, you should have them. You don't need it. To do this transition, you don't absolutely positively have to have it. We bought some more. You could rewire and leave the connections there for it, and then when it comes in, you plug it in. But if you already own it, then you're good to go. So that's the part that we kind of need you to look at is, do you have that AJA converter? And if you do, great, then that part's taken care of. That's really the only missing part, other than the switcher, which can be done as a separate project, right? We can do this in two phases, the audio phase and then the network phase, okay? Because the network switches are gonna have to go through contracting, and that's gonna take a little bit of time, and then they got 90 days to, fulfill the contract award. So it might not be till winter or maybe even early spring before all that stuff shows up where it needs to be. But if we have the AJA boxes, we can start working on affiliates now. We have cable here. I think we probably have enough cable and connectors, which is really actually not even, did we have to make, Allison's not here. Did we have to make any cables for that? Oh, you do, for the Harris cards.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but we had pre-made those. Some of you, by the way, some of you have gotten new Harris chassis with pre-made cables, right? We told you to hold off on them until you got through here, so you could see what we were doing, and hopefully we just wire you once, right? When we're ready to do your EIC reconfig, that's when we install it and we do the wiring. If some of you already had new chassis, and everybody looks different. This is that non-standard, everybody would ship the chassis, install it wherever, and you can figure it out, right? So that's why we're having everybody move them over to the same spot in the same rack, wired the same way. So that's going to be it. When we do the EIC, that will happen. Okay, we'll make that change. So we can actually start now on the non-super stations. We're waiting on racks and patch panels and Axion node and different things for the super stations. But the super stations can start helping their affiliates now. Like we did at Bahrain, we'll do it when we come to Suda Bay. We'll knock you guys out while we're down there. Might as well, it takes a day.
Can you do something before you come out, send me an inventory of all the stuff that we're supposed to have, because I know we are missing components. For
what?
For the transmitter and all that type of stuff.
No, I'm talking about this EIC reconfig.
I know we got that. That just came to us.
Right. If you have that and an AJA box, you have all of the equipment needed for EIC for the rewire. And you need cable. Well, you really don't even need the cable because you're reutilizing most of it. Yeah. We sent you pre-made cables with I think we got to make the analog output. That was an addition. Okay. You've got AES pre-made cables. The only thing additional that we'll have to make for everybody is the analog output from the broadcast center card to get regional eagle from them. That's the only additional cable we didn't make because we didn't think about it until later. Okay, but we should easily be able to knock you guys out while we're there. And then now of course this only works for those that have the TASA installed systems. Legacy Air Force, Stuttgart, K-Town, a little bit different story. So for Stuttgart and K-Town, they have everything. But that's going to be a bit more work where we got to do a lot of gutting and rewire because it's just different, right? But we have all the bits and pieces. We just got to make sure we have the cable because we got to run a new cable for them. So that's once we kind of feel who we can rewire quickly, then we'll move on to Stuttgart and K-Town. And then once the furniture comes in, we'll do the Legacy Air Force. That's my timeline right now. it could change a little bit, but I'm hoping that, we can at least get the tacit installed ones. We can start now, maybe get them done before the end of the fiscal year. I have TDY money right now, so if a place needs assistance, we can fly people to them. So now's the time to knock out what we can. All right, Stuttgart, K-Town are local visits for us, so that's not even a TDY, you know, we can get to them. Maybe for Stuttgart, we might do, because it'll be like a week or so of putting on into bypass on a remote kit. You got a gut rewire, it might be a week or two, so we might do a TDY up there to help out. Let's see, and then Naples and Bavaria once the gear gets in, the racks and all the other stuff, okay? So we're hoping, but, you know, and not hoping, we should have all this done in next year, 2017. Okay, so hopefully within 12 months from now, all of this is done. All right. So I just wanted to go through this Gatesair stuff before lunch. And if we can't get through all of it, then, you know, we'll hit on it after, but I think we can. I've created, this is a step-by-step document that I created. Again, it's on the P drive. We're not gonna go through every page of this because it's how to set up a chassis from scratch, but you already have your chassis set up. All of the people who have brand new chassis sent to them, I already pre-configured them here. So you don't have to do all this, right? You plug it in, put the cards in there. I'll probably have to change some of the streams because, again, I set them up with one EIC concept in mind. Later, we changed it a little bit, so I might owe you another card. I don't remember if I shipped you 2 or 3, but we have cards. That's the good news. We have the spare parts to add that 3rd card. I'm still going to go through where to see all this stuff, but you don't have to physically. You don't have to change the bus mapping and all this other craziness. All right. All right, so that's, you know, your chassis. This is the back plane. One of the things, I just wanted to touch base on these cards so you know what you're looking at. We had a problem in Suda Bay, no, Turkey, where every time their power went out, their IP address reset. And I dug out the manual, and they were the only chassis doing it. Apparently somebody at some point accidentally flipped those 2 switches. So right now it's hard to tell, but these are towards the front of the card. That's where you want them, because that's in the off position. If you flip them to the back of the card and turn them in the on position, the IP information that you have entered into your CM20 card, all the IP information resets every time you reboot it. So they have a power glitch, I mean the momentary glitch that would just cause it to reboot and every stream would stop because now the IP addresses were wrong. So that's what those 2 are. On this little switch here, the only one that should be down is remote. What that switch does is it tells it to ignore all of those other dip switches up there. In remote, it says, allow me to GUI into the chassis and configure using the GUI, right? Graphic user interface for anybody who's not, right? Log in using the computer. If you don't have that on,